Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. We are going to completely demystify the outlining process today. You know that feeling when you're staring at a blank page, just totally overwhelmed by your own thoughts, and that blinking cursor is practically mocking you? Yeah, we've all been there. Well, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to take outlining from this tedious, boring chore and turn it into a seriously powerful tool for crystal clear communication. By the end of this, you're going to see exactly why a strong architectural blueprint is the absolute secret weapon behind literally every great piece of writing.
Okay, let's dive into this. How on earth do you take the absolute chaos of your raw thoughts and actually turn them into a compelling piece of writing? I want you to imagine your initial ideas as a massive, crazy traffic jam right in the middle of your mind. You've got cars honking, vehicles swerving in every possible direction. It's just total gridlock, right? So how do you clear that up and get a smooth, logical flow going? Well, the answer lies in the very structure of how we approach information.
And to get us there, here's our roadmap for today. Notice how setting an agenda is basically creating a visual outline itself. We'll start with the chaos of ideas, then look at writing's architectural blueprint, explore how to categorize our thoughts, cover some structuring and formatting rules, and finally, we'll wrap up with the golden rules of outlining.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the chaos of ideas.
So let's talk about that super messy, disorganized first phase of any writing project. You know, the initial brainstorm where ideas are just flying at you left and right without any rhyme or reason. At its core, an outline is really just an organization of related ideas, and they're grouped by similarity to show how they relate to one another. Preparing an outline is fundamentally a problem of classifying and organizing. It's taking all that raw, unfiltered chaos from your brainstorm and systematically giving it order, so your reader can just effortlessly follow your logic.
To see how this plays out in practice, let's go back to that city traffic idea. Imagine you're writing an essay about traffic problems. You start by just jotting down messy, raw ideas. Maybe you notice, hey, there's a huge variety of vehicles, some fast, some slow. The roads are old and narrow, with parked cars everywhere. And, drivers just aren't obeying the rules. But when you take a step back and develop these 3 raw points, they naturally form a clearly structured paragraph. And here is the cool part. From there, a reader can effortlessly reverse engineer your essay right back into this exact outline. That's the true power of clear organization. It literally allows someone else's brain to map perfectly onto yours.
Moving right along to Section 2, writing's architectural blueprint.
We really need to start looking at outlining as way more than just some basic list-making exercise. It's actually the core architecture of your entire essay. And this brilliantly illustrates the dynamic relationship between you and your audience. Think about it. Writing is language meant to be read. Writing and reading are literally 2 ends of the exact same communication, and they're connected by this underlying framework. As the writer, you use the outline like a skeleton, and you put flesh around those ideas. The reader, on the flip side, consumes your writing and mentally removes that flesh to understand the skeleton underneath. If your skeleton is weak, well, the whole structure just collapses.
So how do we actually build that sturdy skeleton? We can follow this really actionable 5-step roadmap. First up, just jot down ideas as they occur to you. Seriously, embrace the chaos here. Next, you take those ideas and arrange them in a logical or natural order. Then, and I cannot stress this enough, this is vital, you have to be absolutely ruthless. Step 3 is discarding any irrelevant ideas that don't fit your specific purpose, no matter how clever they might sound. Say goodbye to them. Fourth, label your headings carefully. And finally, indent your points to visually show the hierarchy.
Which brings us perfectly to Section 3, grouping and categorizing thoughts.
Now, what's really interesting about this comparison is the dramatic contrast between the 2 approaches. This is where the magic of the outline actually happens. Imagine you're writing about the works of Shakespeare. On one hand, you could have a haphazard, chaotic list of plays and poems. Just looking at it is totally overwhelming, right? But by grouping similar items together, we suddenly create this beautifully organized categorical skeleton. We've got comedies, tragedies, histories, poems, and sonnets. It is the exact same raw information, but with a completely different, much higher level of clarity.
Let's do a quick before and after makeover with another example. Say, books I enjoy reading. If you look at the poor topic outline, it's pretty obvious why it fails. The main topics just aren't of equal importance. Having fiction ranked equally with love stories and military heroes makes absolutely no sense because one clearly belongs inside the other. It's just incredibly confusing for the reader. But when we apply proper categorization, love stories correctly nests right under fiction, and biographies nests under nonfiction. Doing this avoids equal weighting of unequal topics and makes your information instantly digestible.
Okay, let's jump into Section 4, Structuring and Formatting.
Because, let's face it, organization is really only half the battle. You also have to format it correctly. Visual hierarchy is absolutely non-negotiable here. You've got to use a consistent system of labels and indentation. So, main headings get Roman numerals. Then when you break a main heading down, the subheadings get capital letters, and they need to be heavily indented. If you need to go even deeper into the weeds, use Arabic numerals, indented even further. And this isn't just about making things look pretty on the page. The physical space and those specific numeral systems visually communicate the hierarchy of ideas straight back to your own brain as you're writing.
Plus, a truly great outline actually solves that dreaded blank page syndrome by giving you a prompt beginning. Instead of a vague, boring heading simply labeled Introduction, you can anchor your start with a powerful quote, like this one from R.L. Stevenson about travel. It acts as a concrete launchpad. It guides your purpose right from the very first word and totally removes that awful hesitation of wondering how to begin your essay.
And that leads us to our final stop, Section 5, the Golden Rules of Outlining. Let's fire off these absolute, unbreakable laws of outlining straight from our source material. First up, outlines use phrases or words, never full sentences. And because they aren't sentences, do not use periods at the end of your topics. It's a small detail, but it matters. Next, grammatical consistency is absolutely paramount. Parallel points require parallel wording. So if your first heading is a noun phrase, like value of travel, your second heading must be something like pleasures of travel, not an action verb. Also, headings have to be distinct. Do not allow them to overlap. And finally, please never label sections simply introduction or conclusion. Give them actual substantive topics.
So the crucial point here is what we can call the rule of two. You literally cannot divide something into just one part. It's a logical impossibility. Therefore, if your outline has a Roman numeral 1, it absolutely must have a Roman numeral 2. If you create a subheading A, there's got to be at least a subheading B. If you find yourself with only one subpoint, actually, scratch that. It shouldn't be a subpoint at all. It should just be absorbed into the main heading right above it. As we wrap up today's explainer, I really want to leave you with this provocation. We all get tempted to just start typing away, crossing our fingers and hoping the structure will magically reveal itself. But from what we've seen today, skipping the outline pretty much guarantees chaos. So next time you sit down to communicate a complex idea, I want you to ask yourself, what will my skeleton look like before I add the flesh? I challenge you to build that architectural blueprint first. Trust me, your readers and your future self will absolutely thank you. Keep learning, keep structuring, and I'll see you next time.